Yes, absolutely. Make a YouTube channel and start talking. Hey guys, it's me, Devin Harrington, the average Gen Xer, and welcome back to my channel, or welcome if you are new here. On this channel, I talk about things that interest me, and today we are headed over to the Regretful Parents subreddit, and I swear there must be something in the water lately, or something in the stars, or Mercury is retrograde, or something, because the regret these people express is getting worse. It's getting more intense. And just a reminder, we do not read these stories to mock or shame these folks in any way. It's more that I want their stories to be heard on the off chance that someone on the fence about having kids will see these, read them, and change their mind, because we don't need any more kids in the world. There's too many people. I did a post on overpopulation a couple of weeks ago. Check it out if you want, or don't if you don't want to. But it is my personal opinion. Everything on this channel is my personal opinion. But it's my personal opinion that if more people thought long and hard about having kids and what that entails, instead of just feeling like it's something you're supposed to do, the world would be a better place, and it would be a much less crowded place. So let's see what these folks have to say. Real quick, guys, before we get to Regretful Parents, this is my foster, Sparky. I still have him, and he has a meet and greet tomorrow with a potential adopter, and I'm fingers crossed, think it's going to work out great, and they're going to take him home. So I like to tell people on this channel, if you are an animal lover, please consider fostering with your local animal shelter. I promise you it's not as hard as you think. And yes, you will want to keep every foster, but that fades the more you do it. So please help save a life and foster. Okay, y'all, let's get into this. The first post is from Long Jumping issue 42. And it is titled, I Really, Really Regret Being a Mother. Hi, this is apparently the only place I can let my heart out without being judged. That sucks right out of the gate. It sucks, because it is still true in our world today, in our society. We still like to think of children as a gift from God, or at least something that you would never regret having, or at least something that you wouldn't talk about how you regret having. So that is one reason why I'm really glad that these subreddits exist, for people to get their feelings out and to not be judged. She goes on, I love my kid, I really do, but fuck, I don't love that she's my kid. I would do anything for her, but I wish I didn't have to. I love when she's asleep. I wish she would never wake up. My God. I should never have gotten a child. I don't know if this person is like English as a second language, or if this is like a red flag that they say I should never have gotten a child. Like, I'm going to go to the store and buy a bunch of bananas. I should never have had a child would be more appropriate. Anyway, I digress. They go on. Whenever I complain to family or the last two friends I have, all I get is, she's the easiest baby ever. And yeah, probably, but I hate it. I don't care if she's an easy baby. She's almost 1 year. I know I'm a decent mother. She's happy, fed, and is growing. People tell me that, anyways. This poor woman sounds very detached. She deserves the world, and I have to do everything, so she'll get that. But I really wish I didn't have to. I miss my friends. I miss eating whatever the fuck I want. I miss not having to worry about this little person I have created. I miss me. I'm really at the point where I can only think of one thing to do, but who would take care of her? I want her to have the very best in life, but I'm so miserable. Am I going to regret this for the rest of my life? Am I ever going to be happy? Like truly happy? Am I ever going to accept that this is my life now? Am I ever going to relax in this motherhood life? Well, what would I know? As a lot of haters like to tell me, I don't have children, so what the hell do I know about it? But I do have opinions on it. And I would say if I was talking to this lady, I would think she's probably going to regret it for the rest of her life. Now, is she going to grow as a mother, as a parent, and get in her groove? Probably. But I feel like she's always going to have that nagging feeling of what if? What if I had just not had kids? And therein is the quandary, because I don't even know if that's the right word, but I'm going to go with it. Quandary, that is. But is it better to get to the end of your life and regret having children because of all the things you have to sacrifice for them? Or is it better to get to the end of your life and suddenly think, oh, I should have had children? I'll tell you, people who choose to be child free, I think you would be hard pressed to find someone who gets to the end of their life and thinks, oh, gee, I wish I would have had kids. I mean, you've got your whole life to decide whether or not to have children. And even if you get, if you're female and you get too old to have a baby biologically, you can adopt. There are millions of foster kids. Actually, I don't know if there are millions, but there are a ton of foster kids who have no one to love them. And I wish it was like more common in our society for people to take children in from the foster care system and adopt them. I mean, wouldn't that be better? I don't know. So, looking in the comments, Lexa Pros and Cons says, and they are apparent, I was talking to my therapist about the same feeling today. You might be good at something, but that doesn't mean you enjoy doing it. Oh my goodness. You might be good at something, but that doesn't mean you enjoy doing it. Yeah, true. But the something that you choose to do, you can choose to do other things. You don't have to choose to have a kid for any reason other than if it's in your heart to have kids. Yeah, that's all I got to say about that. Double Plankton commented, but your kid is good and you're a good mom. Gets me too sometimes. We can be good at cleaning a toilet. It might be an easy to clean toilet. Maybe no one even used it since the last time it was cleaned. But we're still cleaning a toilet. Ideally, we wouldn't need to clean the toilet at all, and someone else did it. Maybe they're saying like, if all the moms out there had a nanny, had help, it would be easier. Obviously, not necessarily ideal, I don't think. But yeah, that's hardcore comparing raising a kid to cleaning a toilet. Extra yesterday, 8861 said, well said. Complete Chain 4634 said, having a literal baby is the worst. I didn't like my child at all until he could talk, like after 2.5 years. After age 5 was a huge improvement. Another big jump at age 7. Ages 9 to 13 were honestly pretty okay. Teen years were rough, but now he's in his 20s, fully launched, lives by himself, and I am glad I have him in my life. I still wouldn't parent again, but I love my child and hanging out with him in a more adult way. I promise you are in the worst of it. Well, yeah. I mean, I think we can all agree that newborns and, from through the toddler phase are the absolute worst to have to be a parent to. That's when they tend to require more work, but that's not always necessarily so. The bottom line is you roll the dice. Every time you choose to have a baby, you are playing Russian roulette with your body, with your life, with your child's life, with God knows how many things can go wrong. And then you could have a perfectly healthy, wonderful, happy baby, and they have the perfect childhood, and they do great in school, and they go on to get a PhD in something, and then they turn 27 and suddenly they have schizophrenia or some crazy shit like that. Or they start taking drugs, or, life gets to them and something bad happens. You just never know. That's one of the many, many, many reasons why I would never want to have kids, because I would not want the stress and worry. I mean, you have to worry, not you have to, but parents do worry about their kids their whole lives. As long as you are alive, you will be concerned for your children, even when they are old and out of the house and doing their own thing. Okay, let's get back to the posts here. Penny IGJ posted, I wish I could warn 20-year-old me. And she says, having children is probably the worst decision I have made in my life. And there have been some doozies. Same, girl, same. Except the having kids part. I'll be 27 on the 18th, and I don't think I've been more depressed in my life. My partner is immature, manipulative, abusive mentally and physically. Girl, what are you doing? And unappreciative, but won't let me go because his ego can't take it. Ugh. I hope this doesn't sound conceited, but I guess let's say I am far out of his league, beyond just looks. And I settled because at the time I had just come out of some very difficult life circumstances that my mom orchestrated. Ooh, sounds like there's some drama there. And was kind of just flying off the handle and didn't care how my life went. And that was when she was 20, which, as we know, you do not have a whole fully developed brain with a solid prefrontal cortex until you are 25 or 26 years old. So, in my humble opinion, if you have kids before you have a whole brain, then that explains everything, because you're an idiot. And no one in their early 20s should be like weighing themselves down with kids. I mean, you are like probably is the most fertile you're going to be, but that doesn't mean that you should have kids. In this world today, in your early 20s, you're still a fucking child. And I mean, let's not even discuss teenagers having kids. It's just, there is no bad can come from not having kids. That's enough said. Penny goes on. I turned 21, had a few fun nights, and boom, pregnant. Just like that, I had no idea how over my life really was. And I had baby number 2 because I was an only child and now an orphan. And I figured, well, worst comes to worst. If I don't make it, he won't be alone in the world like I am. But now, ironically, I'm even more... What? But now, ironically, I'm even more attractive than I was before I had kids. And there's nothing I can do with it. I used to do acting and modeling jobs for a few years before motherhood, and I loved it. It gave me new life, and I know that it's not a career path that's guaranteed, but the fact is, I let it go for this, and that just eats away at me constantly. In an effort to not give up completely on some semblance of that idea, I thought now that I am a pretty decent gamer, I wanted to start streaming because I know even as a girl, like I don't have to be amazing at the game for people to watch. And who knows? I could end up making some money and having a job I don't absolutely loathe. That is true. I mean, there are plenty of people out there that make money as a gamer. And who knows? Uh, I also have always wanted to do cosplay. Can't because this insecure dipshit is constantly worried about men trying to get at me. I hate my life. I tried to do this and be everything all at once, but the older I get, the more I realize I was never meant to be a mom, or at least have a competent partner that can take care of his family. 7 years of my life I'll never get back. I wish there was a way to warn myself because I would have told her to run and never stop running. Edit, we are not married. That's a tale as old as time, huh? I mean, I could be catty and say, well, you should have got on the pill, or, we all know birth control exists. I mean, the trauma and horror and suffering and frustration and exhaustion can all be prevented with a single humble condom. So don't diss condoms. All right, in the comments, Lawyer Mama 70, who is a parent, says, happy almost birthday. The 18th is my birthday too. Listen, it sounds like your partner is bringing you down, and I'm here to tell you, you can still do what you want to in your life. It'll just take longer. Get started on your cosplay outfits. You can put some love into yourself. It's hard to keep running on empty. Please do something nice for yourself this weekend and don't let anybody make you hide your light. So the original poster is, she's with a shitty guy and she's got 2 kids with him now, and that sucks for her. But, it's still a free-ish country. She could leave. She could kick him out. It's just a matter of getting to the point where you feel okay supporting yourself and your kids without, I don't even know if this guy works, but so many women stay in horrible relationships just because they don't know how they would do it without someone to help pay the bills. My mother is a prime example of that. She had 3 little kids and was a single mom in the mid-70s, and she met a very clever, manipulative narcissist who lied to her and told her he wanted to take care of her kids and he was her savior and her white knight and he was going to save us all from homelessness and welfare. And that's not what happened, but here we are, 45 years later, and she's still married to him because, of course, the minute they were married, he said, well, I want a kid of my own. And so she had a 4th kid. And then she thought, I've never supported myself. My mom was one of those women who married my father to get out of her father's house and had never lived on her own, had never paid her own bills, had no clue. And she could not hack it with 3 little kids on her own. So she got married to this guy. He's abusive. He's a fucking asshole. I haven't spoken to him in 20 years plus. But she's still married to him because he knows how to make a dollar. And she likes the style, the lifestyle that he keeps her in. And at this point, she's been waiting for him to die for so long. It's now like getting tackled on the 1-yard line if she were to try to divorce him. And quite frankly, I think he would never let her go. Anyway, that's what really hits in me with stories like this is, God, what a fucking waste. What a waste to waste your life on some shitty guy over money, I mean, how badly do you want to be independent? How badly do you want to take care of yourself is really the question. Because there are plenty of women that do it. For all the women that end up staying in horrible relationships, there are the other side of the coin. Women that will take their kids to a shelter if they have to, and work their way step by step by step to have their own life. And that is so brave and so amazing that people have that much spirit. But then we have the regretful parents. So comments on this one continue. OP says, I'm going to try and order dinner for myself and take your advice and start working on my cosplays, even if it's only when he's not in the house. So, I mean, I would bet most women, myself included, have dated a guy like this because they're, all the guys like this, they're all the same, insecure little bitches. And they don't want to see you empowered by doing something that you love to do. So if this guy came home and she's making a Catwoman costume or something, he's going to freak out because he's losing control of her. And I really hope she gets out of this. I really do. Pledge Tastes Just Okay says, does he work? Do you have any income or pals that can help? Step 1, create a new bank account with a mailing address at a trusted friend's place. That's a good idea. Start siphoning money discreetly. Cash back at grocery stores, selling stuff, whatever you need to do, and deposit it there. Find a way to document abuse. Oh, yeah, she said he was emotionally and physically abusive. So fuck this guy all the way. Get a spy camera or similar. Plenty of discreet options available on Amazon. Absolutely. They have glasses now with a camera in them. That's pretty cool. Some just look like phone chargers, or home decor. You'll use this to hopefully get a restraining order against your partner. Use this time to also reach out to 211 for local women's shelters to speak about legal and financial resources. Many can help with legal advice and strategy. Pick a day you know he'll be gone and move your stuff out to a storage unit or a friend's place and book a cheap motel on the aforementioned card and find somewhere safe for you and the children, be it a woman's shelter or otherwise. The most dangerous time for victims of DV is when they're leaving. Yes. Tell very few and only trusted people where you are. I hope you get out of this shit situation soon, OP. You've got this. Yeah, I hope she does too. Maybe she'll post a update. I like when people post updates on their Reddit posts so you can follow along with the drama and know what's happening. Okay, Puffy Tuffy 123 posted, I hate every single waking moment of my life. And that's straight and to the point. And she says, I just hate it. I'm a 40-year-old female. My daughter is 4. I have a great husband/roommate, 43 years old. Let's call him a co-parent. We have a dead bedroom, and I'm probably going to divorce him. Just not in this economy, not yet. He is an excellent father, but he works hard. He gets to go to work, he gets to leave, he gets to chat with coworkers, work in a field that he learned and studied and enjoys. He works long and hard, but he wouldn't do anything else. I wish I knew then what I know now. I felt having a child was something I had to do. Oh, God. The fact that in the 21st century, people still feel this way, like, well, I guess I gotta have kids, is ludicrous. Absolutely ludicrous. She goes on. Even though one doesn't seem to be enough for some of our family members and their comments, like, that's so obnoxious that people demand grandchildren or other family members. I mean, we need to normalize telling those people to fuck off because they're not the one birthing the kid, carrying it for 9 months, going through labor. They're not the one raising the kid. They just want to have the kid for an hour on a Sunday and have a little birthday party or something. Those people don't get to demand grandkids. They're not doing the bulk of the work. I hate it all. The morning routine, all caps. And I really don't need advice here on planning the night before or doing things to make it easier. I just hate it. And I can't gaslight myself to not. Even if it's not rushed, it's the tremendous anxiety to be on time, and I have to do it alone. My husband works early and leaves early, so I am now stuck every weekday for the rest of my life, or the next, 14 years? It's hell. I spend most of the day regulating back. It's such a shitty start to the day. No sitting down with a warm beverage and just thinking about myself. Waking up earlier isn't going to help. It's a lingering to-do list, and I know I have to get her ready. And she has one child. One. And she's 4. I mean, she's probably not even in kindergarten yet. Then I hate picking her up from school, too. I have an alarm that goes off. I check the time all day, and I'm like, okay, I have 3 more hours. Okay, I have 1 more hour. And it's this countdown to go pick her up. I also have to fix her up when we get home, make food and clean her up, and for the most part, feed her all alone again. She has delays. Oh, God. Developmental delays, I'm assuming. And I need to make sure she eats. I'm in hell. I hate my life. I haven't worked since COVID. 5 years. No one will hire me. And being asked why I haven't worked in such a long time by men just pisses me off. Yeah, that would piss me off too. I'm burnt out. I'm overwhelmed. I'm depressed and hopeless and helpless. No money, no prospects, no future. I can't enjoy anything I like. I'm mad at the world for telling me this is what women need to do. Well, I mean, let's be clear. The world does tell us that. No one gets to tell you to have kids, and you can choose to listen or not. And the fact that people just give in so easily and go along with it just because they think, oh, well, everybody's done it, and how hard can it be? She goes on, I see now there is an alternative that was mocked when I was growing up. Crazy spinster, old maid, cat lady. I wish I was left all alone. Freedom. I hate every waking moment of my fucking life, and I'm not sure I'll ever like it. It's all so meaningless. Clean the same dishes, cook the same meals, clean up the same mess, wash the same clothes. Groundhog Day. It's all a repeat and reverts back to the same bullshit. The only thing that would help is a lot of money. So I could hire a live-in nanny, a maid, a cook, get a bigger house where I have a separate bedroom, personal space with things of my own that are not touched or bothered. Or a time machine. Is there a reset button? Reading this back, I sound like such a miserable cow. I want to scream and start a new life, travel the world with a sexy lover in every country. Now she's speaking my language. I'm so alone and fat, old and ugly, poor and miserable. No career, no passions, no hobbies, no future. And on top of it all, I'm riddled with guilt for being a bad wife and a bad mom. No one told me the truth, and I was tricked. I didn't need any of this trauma. This burden on my life that I have to hide. I don't want her to feel like how I felt growing up. So, of course, I try my best to be present, to play, and to be or look happy. And that is admirable that she does that. I mean, most people, they want their kids to grow up in a kinder, more loving environment than they did themselves. And so she's doing the right thing with that. Which is another thing no one told me, is that your own childhood surfaces up and it's like, I wouldn't call my kid fat every single day and compare her to everyone around her and insult her feelings and dismiss her. So why did that happen to me? This is a lot. And that, by the way, is reason number 485,000 that I never wanted kids, is because I do not want to have to go through someone else's childhood. It's too depressing. And that's a whole other video. But this person goes on. This is a lot, and there are spaces for people to come together. Anyways, either kidnap me or give me some winning lottery numbers. Not sure anything else will help. Time machine me, time machine me, please, to when I was 26 years old, made to feel like a slut for wanting to casually date and desperately searching for a boyfriend. Take me there. God, that's just gets my guts. This poor woman. And it's you could just feel the regret and the frustration and the exhaustion, and there is no turning back. Once you decide, okay, I'm going to keep this baby, or I'm going to have unprotected sex, or however you end up with a baby, there's no turning back. Because even if there was like a magical place where you could take your toddler or whatever and decide, I don't want to be a parent anymore, you can keep this kid, and you knew that the kid was going to be happy and all of that, you're still energetically tied to that child. You will have to go the rest of your life wondering, if you gave the baby away, what would happen. So the best thing to do is never get pregnant, never give birth. And then you don't have to worry about any of this. And you can be a crazy spinster, an old maid, and a cat lady, or a dog lady. All right. So the comments on this post, Still Sharon commented, "You said that you wouldn't call your kid fat or insult her feelings or dismiss her like happened to you when you were a kid. That's good. You want to end that cycle of trauma for her. But you are calling yourself fat and ugly and dismissing your own feelings as bad. I know it's easier said than done, but you should be much kinder to yourself. You are not a bad mom or a bad person. You are having a hard time under difficult circumstances. You should talk to yourself as if you were a friend you love in the same circumstances. Be much more compassionate to yourself. Being a mom is hard. Being a human is hard. You are not a failure. You are valuable. You are a valuable, worthwhile human being who deserves kindness from everyone, including and especially yourself." Wow, Still Sharon, you have just got the perfect thing to say. I would like Still Sharon to talk to me when I feel bad. Any Ad 3540 said, "Thank you. I needed to read this. I felt as if you were writing it to me." Aw, and Still Sharon said, "I am writing it to you if you needed to hear it." That is so nice to see people not judging these regretful parents, but now, at least online in these forums, it is becoming more normal to talk about wishing you could go back and not have kids or whatever the situation is, and people are kind about it in these forums, which is great. Next Spot 2807 says, "I can relate. I hate being bound to a fucking child. I wish I could go back in time and stay alone. I'll be a crazy cat lady if I have to. Better yet, I should have tied my tubes a long time ago." Yep. There's a lot of people begging to be sterilized in the United States these days. And that's all I have to say about that. Distinct Meaning 988 commented, "No advice because I'm in the same boat with my 5-year-old daughter, but you are not alone. I'm right there with you, hating life most of the time. The morning routine and the bedtime routine absolutely will be the death of me, and I dread both of them. Ugh. I hate waking up in the morning. I hate getting off work and having no time for myself before I go get her from school. I hate it all. It's the most unrewarding job ever, and it's never ending." That is probably the basest, truest thing you could say about parenthood, but motherhood especially. It's the most unrewarding job ever, and it's never ending. I'm constantly thinking to myself, why did I choose to spend my 30s this way? I could have done so much more. I could have a life I actually enjoy instead of being someone's 24/7 caretaker with no help. You are seen, you are heard, you are not alone. Some of us weren't meant to be mothers, and that's okay. We're doing the best we can. Hugs to you. Yeah, I would say that I would say more than half of us weren't meant to be mothers. And the fact that people who have no business raising kids have kids anyway because it's so easy to get knocked up and suddenly you have a kid. Um, and it's no shade to anyone struggling with infertility. Don't get me wrong. It's just that so many people have no business raising kids, and they do it anyway. And they raise another generation of traumatized people who go on to raise the next generation of traumatized people. And the world would be so much simpler and quieter and more peaceful if people who don't have any clue about raising children would just stop having them. Okay, I'll shut up now. Moving on to Tiny Driver 1754 says, I wonder what will kill me first. That's the title of this post. Sleep deprivation, exhaustion, depletion, myself. Today will be my first time dealing with an active toddler after being awake all night. I didn't have energy on my few hours of sleep yesterday. God knows what today will feel like. If you don't have kids yet, all caps, don't do it. The world is lying to you. Your life will not get better. All caps, it will get worse. Don't have kids. Don't. Whew, that was intense. I think they got their point across, though. In the comments, Next Spot 2807, who is a parent, said this. This is the most truth I've heard in a while. Yep. Coevhelvx said, for the past 5 days, my 11-week-old has been waking up every hour, and I have to care for 2 other kids. What? 1-year-old and 2-year-old. She's got a 2-year-old. She's got a 1-year-old, and she has an 11-week-old. Dude, get the fuck off of her. 3 kids under 3? That's insanity. I have to care for 2 other kids from 6 a.m. till bedtime at 7 p.m., and I am not coping. I'm glad I got my tubes removed. Thank Christ. I Am Cat 2013 says, it's so hard, dude. I've definitely been in the place where I would write this a lot. Allergic Idiot Detector says, sorry you're struggling, OP. Insufficient sleep is really, really bad for you. I hope you can find a way to get somebody to take care of them for a day or 2 so that you can catch up on sleep. Wish you the best. I bet that person would absolutely give anything to have 2 days off to themselves and just do whatever they wanted and take big naps and watch crap TV and eat junk food and just be alone with themselves. And if you're a child-free person, that's every weekend for you. Okay, sorry, not trying to gloat. Next post. And this is, Okay, next post is by Inkdupaline. I don't know if I'm saying that right. Inkdupaline. And it's titled, It Never Gets Better. For those wondering, it doesn't. My resentment only grows. I wish so bad I could go back 17 years and have an abortion. I was a kid myself who was all but forced to have a kid, and he literally ruined my life. He's been hell to deal with, put me through literal poverty. He robbed all my chances at everything, and he doesn't even care. Thank God he's been with my mom the last 3 years, but it's not like I just pick up and go do what I wanted to do when I was 17 now. God, I seriously hate my life. Well, this lady sounds really depressed. And at 17, that is You don't have the first clue what you're doing. And the worst part is you think you know everything at 17. And to say, I wish I went back and had an abortion, that's pretty heavy shit. I mean, I'm just thinking like if her son could read this, Um, yeah, that's heavy. Okay, in the comments, Left Coast Leslie C says, share your story with young people so they don't make the same mistakes, please. Yes, absolutely. Make a YouTube channel and start talking. Profili commented, I am a high school teacher and I would like my children to know the real consequences of having children enter the world without being prepared. Oh my God, yes. Apparently, just real quick, I went to a Catholic all girls school. And so I didn't really have the like normal high school experience. There were no boys there. Everything was very regimented, very disciplined. But as it happens, our prom queen slash class president of the senior class was a couple of months pregnant at graduation. And I thought that was so strange because nobody else was ever pregnant at my school. And nowadays, they have entire programs for teen parents at the high school. And girls are, hugely pregnant, going to class. When I was a teenager, that was like a fate worse than death to me. And it smacks of not being smart, not being smart enough or caring about yourself enough to use birth control. It implies that you're just kind of a dumb breeder. And that's how I felt about it as a teenager. And if I see a pregnant teenager these days, I mean, there was a girl who was 15 and pregnant, like obviously pregnant, at my dance recital. And she was in one of the dances with me, and she's wearing fishnets and, whatever costume we had to buy for that number. And she's pregnant. And I did see her later on the next year, and there she was, a little infant, 15 years old. Fuck that. Okay, moving on to the last post for today. God, this is dragging on. It's dragging on worse than the life of a regretful parent. Bored Mom 5 says, depressed mom of multiple kids. I'm not sure if I belong in this group, but I've lurked a long time, and I want to share my parenting experience. I always wanted to be a mom growing up, but I did plan to go to college and work in education. I accidentally got pregnant at 18 and had my first son. Okay, yeah, it's kind of an accident. Birth control fails, condoms come off, any number of things can happen. But no pregnancy is an accident. We all know where babies come from. I mean, come on. You have sex, there's a chance you could be pregnant. I accidentally got pregnant at 18 and had my first son. I adored him so much, I was blinded from how hard being a parent actually was and the long-term consequences. I immediately asked my now husband if we could get married, and we allowed ourselves to have more kids. We never tried to get pregnant and used the pull-out method, but I was just very fertile. Yeah. Very easy to get pregnant that way. We justified each new baby saying it would be good for our children to have siblings. Not necessarily. I really can't rationalize why I allowed myself to have 5 kids because I am now so overwhelmed after doing the parenting thing for 16 years and being nowhere near done. Unfortunately, I've become more depressed and lonely over the years from the draining nature of parenting. No one in my life can understand why I had multiple kids, and I guess they were overwhelmed by it too. So our family and friends began to distance themselves from me. Obviously, having many kids is a big responsibility, so I decided to be a stay at home mom despite being an intelligent and disciplined person. Well, if you have five children, I mean, if you have any children, ideally, one parent should be there all the time. I mean, ideally. Does that mean only rich people should have kids? That's not what I'm saying. But as a latchkey kid of the 70s, I really wished I had a stay at home mom. Okay. I now feel terrible about myself that after over a decade into my adult life, I am still just a stay at home mom with no career. So many women and moms work now, and I get so anxious and depressed because I have no idea what career I could handle while also trying to manage my five kids' schedules and all the housework. My husband helps a little, but he has his own challenges trying to provide for all of us. I grew up wanting to be a teacher, but parenting has really made me question if I would want to be in a classroom all day and then come home to housework and my own kids. I often have thoughts that if I had only had my oldest son and daughter, my life could be very different and a lot more manageable. My oldest kids are in high school already. Meanwhile, my youngest just started kindergarten. But I feel so guilty because my youngest three kids are really great humans and I love them. My youngest son, in particular, shows me so much love, and I feel guilty because I'm just so exhausted doing this parenting thing right with each of them. I also suffer from being alone so much, but I'm so bad at making friends. I never really learned how to do adult relationships since I've been too busy being a mom. Well, there's reason number 6,085,085 not to have children, especially when you're a teenager. Sad, sad, so sad. The desperation and the depression is so thick. Okay, I am Cat 2013 commented, with your youngest in kindergarten, some level of independence is headed your way. It doesn't fix it, but it can help. Hugs. I relate, but I stopped at 3. I had some religious convictions telling me birth control was bad for my second 2 kids. Oh, religion. Religion. Board Mom, the OP, said, I think religion played a role in brainwashing me into having more kids as well. I left religion 7 years ago. Thank God. At least she did one thing right. Left Coast Leslie C says, 2 great decisions. Yeah. And I mean, if religion is, you feel it adds to your life and it's good for you, great. Go on with your God. But if you are trying to make everyone believe in the invisible man in the sky like you, no good. And if you are trying to control women by brainwashing them to have as many children as their freaking body can handle, fuck you. Okay, Dot 6995 commented, with school-aged kids, why are you still managing all of the housework? They can and should definitely be cleaning up and to some degree helping with the cooking and other chores. Have you looked into different volunteer or even daytime fun activities through Facebook groups or Meetup? A lot of people are awkward, so don't let that deter you. Absolutely. I mean, social anxiety is rampant these days. So it's really, if you're not good at making friends, that's nothing to worry about. I mean, nobody is friends with everybody. The OP commented, my kids are fairly busy with school and extracurriculars, so it's hard to get a set schedule for them to help, and certain things have to be done in a timely manner to keep it moving. Dishes have to be done to cook dinner, laundry has to keep moving to get to all the loads, etc., etc. I'm always home except for when I'm driving kids to their activities, so I just do it. I've taught them how to do chores, but we don't have a requirement for them to help on a schedule. My oldest daughter has ADHD and needs help cleaning her room and bathroom, but the rest of my kids do their own rooms. Well, that's something anyway. OK.6795 came back and said there's still absolutely no reason why, even with you being at home and your kids having busy schedules, that you should be doing all of the housework. Your kids don't need to have a schedule to toss their dark clothes in the washer, or when they're hungry in the morning, make some scrambled eggs or prepare a bowl of cereal. Well, yes, I mean, children should learn how to do laundry. By the time they are in high school, you should know how to wash dishes and do laundry and maybe cook a few things. This woman is taking it all upon herself, as women tend to do. And that is just going to lead her to nothing good. So, the moral of the story is that if you choose to have children and you are a fence sitter, or you are someone who always thought you did not want children, but you get talked into it, or whatever the case may be, it doesn't get better. People comment on this sub all the damn time. When is it going to get better? My kid is 2. When is it going to get better? My kid is 5. When is it going to get better? My kid is 18. When is it going to get better? And yes, there are people who, from a practical perspective, say, oh, when they start school, you'll have more time to yourself, which could be true. But then there are people like some of these regretful parents who just tell it like it is. It's not going to get better, because when you have a kid, you don't have your life anymore. You have your kid's life if you're a good parent. And that is what I have for you today, guys. If you like this video, please like it. Please leave a comment. Let me know what you think about these stories from regretful parents. If you can relate, if you can't relate, whatever. I would love to hear your thoughts. And as always, I so appreciate it if this is a long video. So if you made it to the end of this video, you are indeed a trooper. And I thank you all so much. We are headed toward 1,800 subs on this channel. I cannot believe that. And I am so, so, so grateful to all of you for helping us to get there. So I will say goodnight, and I will see you guys in the next video. Thank you so much.